Healthy living, it is possible with Noyen Soludo. Good day, our wonderful ambassadors in all the schools in Anambra State. My name is Jideobi Obo, Coordinator Healthy Living with Noyen Soludo Garden Competition. Today, I bring you greetings from the wife of the governor and the founder of Healthy Living with Noyen Soludo, Dr. Mrs. Noyen Soludo. Thank you very much for everything you guys are doing in the school. The wife of the governor and the founder of Healthy Living with Noyen Soludo is really happy, and she extends her greetings to you today. During the inaugural launch of the Healthy Living with Noyen Soludo garden competition, we told each and every one of you, our ambassadors, that we'll be providing you with manuals, I'll be providing you with tutorial videos to assist you, to guide you, to be able to plant the crops, the seeds distributed to each and every one of you effectively. And today, that is why I'm here, to show you with a practical demonstration, to show you how to plant the seeds correctly, and most importantly, how to prepare your garden, apply manure evenly and effectively to get an optimal result. So please pay attention. Don't skip any steps, as I will be showing you here today on how to do these things. So please follow me. So, first of all, we're going to prepare the garden. And one of the first steps to do when preparing your garden is, first of all, to weed it. Now, remember that during the launch, we told all of you, the ambassadors, that this competition, we will not be using anything synthetic. It's going to be pure organic farming. So meaning that to weed this little portion, I'm not going to use any form of chemicals to kill the weeds. No, I'm going to do it manually. Reason for that is just like one of the slogan of Dr. Mrs. Noyen Soludo, ne kachi sikea. You understand? Ne kachi sikea. So it's very important. So we want to keep everything as natural as possible. So first of all, I'm going to weed this place, basically just bringing out the grasses from its roots off, basically removing the root. So removing everything. So I don't want to use chemical to do this because that will also affect the soil and also the crop. So I don't want to do that. So it's very simple. It's a garden, so it's a small portion. So you don't have to stress so much. Forget about your hands being dirty. As an come right? So basically, I'll do that. So if you happen to have some nylon in your space, like nylon, you remove them too, because they might stop water from getting to the root of the plants. So with this, we are done. So the next thing I want to do now after weeding is to till the soil. So tilling the soil is so that water can easily enter the soil very well and easily at the beginning. So basically, to till the soil is just to turn it like this. So you can see there's one nylon here, so I'm going to remove it because I don't want it to block water, stop water from getting to the roots. Okay, so you see I've tilled this little space, so you can see the way the soil is now. And make sure for your garden that you try as much as possible to do it on a level ground, if possible. So this is good. So after this, the next thing that you're going to do is to apply manure, and we'll be using organic manure. Example of an organic manure is poultry waste. If you go to the farm, ask them to give you the droppings, nsi okoko, nsi ewu, and the rest. You understand? And also, if you, maybe in your schools, you cut the grass, instead of throwing it away, you can keep it at some point for it to decay. And when it does, you can put it in your farm. All right, so it's time to apply the manure. So this is the manure I have here. So I got this from a poultry farm. This is pure poultry, chicken droppings. So this is pure. So all I have to do now is to spray it over the soil evenly as much as possible. As much as possible. So this way. So I can have it. As much as possible. Then this is what I will do from here down all the whole space I have. You understand? All the whole space I have. So, but for demonstration, I'll just stop here. But this is what you do for all the space you want to, plant your seeds. Very, very important. But this is just one method of doing that. There's also another method, which is, to an extent, I would say it's more economical, because you will not have to spray the manure all around, the surface of the garden. This method, you just apply the manure just at the point where you want to plant the seeds. And for me, I feel that is more effective, but sometimes I would say it's more tedious. But let me show you. Now, let's say I want to farm. I've marked out the points where I want to have my seeds. So let's say I'm going to space it. So let's say I'm going to have one here. So all I have to do is I have to dig a hole. I'll dig a hole. Then I'll have a large quantity of it in that hole. Then mix it properly with the sand. Mix it properly with the sand. Then 1 foot spacing from point 1, point A to point B, where I'll be putting the next seed. I have another hole, maybe just about 10 centimeter deep. So I pour it in there and I mix it. And I mix it. So, as you can see, these two methods. First method, you spray it all over the space. The other method, just at the point where you want to farm. You mix the sand properly. Then the next thing will now be, you apply water on those portions. So for this one where I dug a hole to mix the manure to be concentrated, I have to add water to it. Then this one, I have to spray water all around the space. The reason for this is so that the water will help the manure to mix with the soil, 1. 2, because at this point, this manure is concentrated. That's why you see a lot of people, they'll tell you that I applied manure on my farm and it killed everything. Reason being that the nitrogen content in it has to mix with water and, dilute to an extent. But if you leave it at that, it produces a lot of heat and it will burn or kill the roots of the plants. Do you understand? So that is why you have to allow it. So after doing this, I'm going to apply water, which I'm going to show you now. I'm going to apply water on this garden. Then I will allow it for about 3 to 2. No, I'll allow it for about 5 to 7 days. I'll allow it for about 5 to 7 days. During that period, the concentration of the manure must have reduced. And it will not be at the level where it can kill the crop, but it will be very, very useful to the crop. Then at that point, we can now plant our seeds. You understand? So you're going to water it. I'm going to get water now and show you how you're going to do that. You water it properly and allow it to do its thing. Allow the soil and the manure and nature to do its thing. Then after that, we can now come back after 5 to 7 days to plant our seeds. Is that okay? So let's go get water and water the farm. So just apply your water evenly. So this is just for a demonstration. So basically just apply your water. So let's just apply enough water such a way that, you know, the soil will be soaked. So just apply enough water. That's the most important thing. You know, evenly round to show. Then for the second method, where I talked about applying the manure at just one spot, here and here. So apply your water in that spot and mix it very well. Understand? The same thing. Apply your water, enough water, and mix it very well. Just like this one. Like that. So apply enough water and mix it very well and leave it for 5 to 7 days. So this is what you received on that day. Sorry, it's a bit messy because of my hand from the farm. So when you open your pouch that you received on that day, you're going to have various. We'll give you about 7 for secondary school. Then for the primary school, we'll give you about 4 or 5 different seeds. Okay, so here we have the okra. Here we have sweet pepper. Here we have tomatoes. Here we have watermelon. Here we have cucumber. And here we have carrots, right? So I'll be showing you how to do each and every one of this. So first of all, I will start with the ones that doesn't actually require nursery. Nursery is when you plant them in a secured place because they are tender growing up. So when they come out sprouts and grow for about a week or 2, then you can now transplant. So I will do that last, but let me start with the ones you can. So all of these crops, apart from the okra, that will be farming, will be planting on this garden, you don't need to make a ridge or ridges. You don't need to make ridges. If you want to do a bed, fine. But the most important thing is just till your soil. You don't have to start making ridges like you want to plant cassava or you want to plant yam. No, you don't need all that. All you need is just till your soil, apply your manure, make sure you allow it, apply water, make sure you allow it to, you know, dilute for a period of 5 to 7 days. Then you can go about sowing your seed. So I'm going to start with cucumber. So I'm going to start with cucumber. So this is my 5 to 7 days, right? So the cucumber seed is the one that is pink in color. So because cucumber, they are crawlers, they climb, you understand, they climb, like ugu. If you know ugu climbs, the same thing, they are in the same family, you know. So we'll be planting 2 seeds at one spot. 2 seeds at one spot. So how deep is it going to go into the soil? Which is very important because some of this crop, they are not so strong. So if they go too deep into the soil, they will find it difficult sprouting out. So sometimes they might die and it ends up reducing your germination rate. Do you understand? So how deep? So this is my index finger, right? How deep? This deep. From the first line of my index finger, this deep. Camera, please come closer. So this deep, then I have it. So this deep, and I just close it. That's all. Now, what's going to be the distance from where I planted the first one to the next one? 1 foot. 1 foot simply means the size of your leg, or you can just do a finger. you stretch out your thumb to your middle finger. So this gives you the distance. So with this you can. So I'm going to have the next one here, and with that I can just estimate that the next one will be here. Then what's going to, because this is where I planted the first one, what's going to be the distance on this axis? The same distance from here to here is going to be the same distance from here to here. So I have here, then the next one will be here, then the next one will be here. Then I move down to this side. Now because I'm planting it this way, so I'm going to give it I'm going to double the spacing here. So to this point, then to this point. So the next one will be here. Reason for this is so that I will have space to put my stick or the rope that my cucumber will climb on. Do you understand? So what did I say about the depth of this index finger? Like this, in, then that's it. It's inside. And we're done. So when you do this, between 5 to 6, 7 days, even for some crops, 4 days, they will start sprouting. They will start coming out of the soil. And cucumber is a very fast plant, of which you have to prepare ahead of time for it, or else it will outgrow you, especially when it starts, bringing out the tentacles to start climbing and stuff. So you have to make that provision available. All you have to do is just to get a rope. I'm going to show that in our later video when it sprouts, when it comes out of the ground and start growing. Then I'll show you how to do that. But basically, if you've planted ugu before, or you see where they plant ugu or yam, the same process. Just give it a rope to climb on, and it will climb effectively. Do you understand? So that's for cucumber. Very simple. Very simple. Index finger, the length of this length of your finger, that should be the depth of the seed in the soil. Do you understand? Then the spacing, you can do 1 foot or 2 foot, depending on how big your place is. 2 foot is fine, 1 foot is fine on either side. Is that okay? So let me show you how to do watermelon. So this is our watermelon seed. You understand? This is watermelon seed. A similar process with the cucumber. But now, because watermelon is also a crawler, it can also climb. You understand? If you give it something to climb. But because the fruit it produces, it's very heavy over time. A watermelon ball can weigh up to 2-3 kg. It's very heavy. So for you to put a structure that will hold that, if it starts climbing, it's going to be difficult. So most times, in fact all the time, people prefer, and it's always best, to allow it just crawl on the ground and do its thing. Do you understand? And do its thing. So it's perfect that way. It's perfect that way. So having that in mind, the spacing will not have to be different. In cucumber we did 1 foot, 2 foot. In watermelon, give it enough space. Do 3 foot, do 4 foot. Give it enough space, because when it starts crawling, it's going to fill the whole place. I'm going to show you a picture of a watermelon farm, so you have an idea of what is going to happen. The leaf will cover the whole garden. You won't even see anything. You understand? So because of the weight of its fruits, it can sit on the ground comfortably. So if you notice, the seed of these tomatoes are very tiny, very, very tiny. Very, very, very tiny. You can see it's very tiny. So we're going to do a nursery for this. Nursery in the sense that I'm going to pour them. We're not going to do the spacing thing we did for cucumber and watermelon. So come closer, let me show them. So at this point, this is the seed. So all I just have to do is just to sprinkle it down here. And just get some little soil and just sprinkle on top. You understand? Then I can now mark it, so I'll know where it is. Then allow it. When it grows and comes out properly, and a bit stronger, then you can now transplant. So that can be after it's sprouted out of the ground, maybe after 2-3 weeks, you can now transplant. You can now transplant and do the normal spacing thing we did for cucumber and watermelon, the way you want it now. You understand? The way you want it. So, but there's something I have to tell you about tomato, pepper, because it's the same process, and your carrots too. It's the same process, the nursery method. Now, some of this plant, which is pepper, tomato, and carrots, birds like it a lot. So you have to provide some kind of protection for it, maybe use a net to cover it while they are coming out of the ground. While they are coming out of the ground. Do you understand? While they are coming out of the ground. So as they're coming out of the ground here, you get a net to cover it so that birds will not pick it. Because the moment it starts sprouting, birds like it a lot. They like it a lot. They'll just come and pick. So have this at the back of your mind to provide security for your nursery. You can even do it in a container and have it maybe where that is more secure than your garden before you can transplant. But at that nursery level, you have to have security in mind. Security in mind. You have to have that in mind for your nursery. So after they've grown for about 2 to 3 weeks, then you can now transplant. Then the birds cannot really hurt it anymore. Do you understand? So that is how you're going to do that. Then for the okra, the same method we used for the cucumber and the watermelon, but this time around, we're going to make a ridge like we want to plant. The way you plant, you do your ridges for your cassava because it grows big and it's heavier. Do you understand? So you do that. So that's basically what we'll be doing now. So follow these methods. You understand? And I'll be sharing with you because I'm going to also do the same thing I've shown you in my home garden. So we'll be comparing results as time goes on. So all these crops, I'm going to plant them in my home garden the same time with you guys, the same time with all of you, the ambassadors, so that I'll be showing you what I'm seeing, you'll be showing me what you are having. If there are any challenges, we are all in the same WhatsApp group. So just show us a picture of what you have and we'll tell you what the issue is. Then after this video, a week after now, when in 2 weeks time, when your crop must have started coming out of the ground, we're going to do another video showing you how to produce organic pesticides and organic fungicides. Like I told you, we are doing organic farming, so we are not doing anything chemicals like the normal canned processed pesticides and fungicides. No, we're showing you how to do organic one with things you have in the house already, not chemicals, but other crops and plants and herbs. You understand? So we're going to show you how to do that in 2 weeks time. That tutorial will be out too, and we'll be sending a soft copy version of the manuals stating and showing pictures of all these things I demonstrated to you in this video, for easy access too, to help you. Because I must say this, the founder of Healthy Living with Nonye Soludo, Dr. Mrs. Nonye Soludo, is very passionate about this. And one of the key parts of living a healthy lifestyle is what you eat. What you eat. And the best way to control what you eat and to know what you eat is to make the food yourself. And apart from making the food yourself, now we're going a length further to plant, to grow the foods ourselves. So when you grow the food, you know what you put in there. Do you understand? When you cook the food, you know what you put in there. And at the end of the day, you know what you're eating. Do you understand? So you can live a healthy lifestyle. So thank you very much. I know this video is a bit lengthy, but it's important you get all the information you needed. So I'm looking forward to your progress report as you send in the progress you guys are making in your schools, in the gardens and all that. So thank you very much. I love you all. Bye.